Hey, it's me again, and I just wanted to kind of continue my conversation from earlier. But before I do, I just wanted to show you around. So this is from the top of the hostel here in Bangkok. It's called Once Again Hostel, and it's a pretty cool view actually. You can see a temple right behind there. Yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to continue the conversation from earlier because I was talking about how, we seem to like chase, like if you haven't watched it, like just kind of like give a quick summary, or if you watched it, I'll give you another summary of it. That like we have this tendency to chase for easy, like trying to always find easy in our lives, like trying to, the easiest way to do things, the easiest job and the easiest life and the easiest of everything, easiest way of making food. And that's why I like the whole quick frozen dinners is working so well, because we're just trying to constantly chase easy and kind of trying to like always simplify our lives. Yet the more we're trying to find easy, the harder it feels, right? Like the harder it feels, like and the reason why I'm saying this is because like I was doing that. Like I kept chasing easy in my life, but yet I felt like the most struggle in that situation where I was like really in that space of easiness. And the point that I made in that video is that like, well, if we're going to face challenge in our life anyways, then might as well do it for something that's worth it, right? Might as well go about it and make the changes that we want to make on ourselves to create a life that we really want, right? Because we're going to face their struggles anyways. We're still going to face things in our lives. We're still going to face situations. And so might as well do it for something that's worth having, right? And that's the whole point of that last video. And the one point that I wanted to just kind of add to that is that like when you're going to chase, let's say you want to create a better life for yourself, you want to have a life of freedom for yourself, you want to have a life of like external freedom where you get to travel and maybe come to Bangkok and experience these things, or wherever you want to go in the world, or maybe you want to have more freedom to do more of the things that you're passionate about, and or you want to also have like internal freedom. Like that's big for me, is having that internal freedom. Like that has been the biggest drive for me in my journey, without even knowing it. Like I was chasing the external freedom, and I also found internal freedom. And when I mean internal freedom, I mean the freedom from anxiety, freedom of fears, freedom of insecurities, and also the freedom of expression, like fully getting into a space of, just expressing myself authentically and real and raw. And so like that's what I want to do. And this is what I've been chasing for myself. And that's what I'm creating. And that's what I'm sharing as well too. So going down this journey of finding your own external and internal freedom, you're going to face some struggles there too. Like you're going to face some challenges you're going to face because you're changing, you're kind of like changing into being more of yourself, if you want to say it that way. Like you may not see it that same way when you're on this path of personal growth, but what you discover at that, as you go along, is that you're in fact, going through a self-discovery process. And so, yeah, you're going to face some things there, but you're also going to face like life situations, things that will happen, maybe things that will break, or things that, will fail or whatever. But it's okay. It's part of life. You face that regardless if you choose the easy life or if you choose the life that you want to really live. So like I said, might as well go about doing something that you really want to experience that's going to give you the outcome that you want. But the point here, here's the point that I wanted to make, is that when you go on this journey, then those challenges they get easier to deal with, which is kind of funny. So they're still going to happen. They're still going to come up. But when you like work on yourself, when you have this personal growth journey and you overcome yourself, you overcome your mind barriers, you overcome your emotional barriers as well too, and you free yourself from your emotional memories of the past, the challenges that you start facing actually becomes easier. And what I've found for myself as well too is that like I started to get excited about challenges, and now these days I'm like open to it if it does happen. And when it does, then it's like, oh, amazing. Like I get excited because I'm like, awesome, there's something in there for me to learn, right? So when you start seeing like challenges and things that you face in your life, see it as an opportunity to learn and grow, right? Because you're going to learn from that. Like, we always learn from everything that we face in our lives, and we learn best when we challenge ourselves, when we face our fears, when we go beyond our comfort zone, because that's where we grow our best. And so that's why when we face those things and we grow, we start realizing, that our challenges are easier to work with. And as a matter of fact, like, they don't affect you as much. They don't get you to a point where they bring you down, or they don't bring you to a point of like feel like you feel defeated or unworthy. They don't make you like want to just quit, kind of thing. It just kind of like it starts to feel like, oh, this is, well, okay, this is something, what, it's okay, it's happening. I've dealt with something like this before. I can deal with it again. And you just kind of work with it, because the further that you chase trying to have easy in your life, then essentially, you're what you're trying to do is you're trying to avoid problems, right? And that's what I was like realized for myself, is that like the more that I was trying to find easy and simple in my life, as a matter of fact, what I was doing is I was trying to run away from avoid problems as much as possible, but yet problems still persisted. So life is going to throw shit at you all the time. Like, we can't do anything about the outside world. We can't do anything. Whatever happens in our lives, in our situations, in our circumstances, on our drive to work, our walking somewhere, whatever it is, like, whatever happens, we can't deal with it. Like, if someone cuts you off, we can't change that. Like, let's say if someone cuts you off in traffic, we have no control over that. Like, that's just what happens. But what you do have control over is how you react to it, and how how you see it, right? So again, having that journey allows you to free yourself from that, free yourself externally, free yourself internally, and those challenges later on just comes easier to deal with. And then eventually, like, what started happening is that, as a matter of fact, life feels simpler, easier. Even though your challenges are still there, even though shit are still happening, it just becomes easier to work with. So that's all I wanted to add to that. But thank you for watching. I am going to go have a nap, and then I am going to Khao San Road in Bangkok. So apparently that is the crazy market, or they call it crazy. I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'll make my own judgment of it. But yeah, looking forward to experiencing what that looks like. So catch you later. Bye-bye.